صل وسلم وبارك على هذا النبي الكريم سيد سند العظيم ذو القلب الرحيم سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم تسليما سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين آمين.
Amen. Shukran, Imam Yalo. Bishop, if you can offer some prayers, you have the floor, please, as well.
Thank you, Chairman. Lord God Almighty, whose mercies are beyond human comprehension, we continue to knock at your throne of grace, the heart of love and compassion on all humankind throughout the whole face of the globe. We pray that you will grant all of us the humility to be humble, to be merciful, to be compassionate, to be loving and caring for one another. We pray that you will remove greed and avarice from our hearts. Grant us to know that this world is not the end of everything else, but the time will come when each and every one of us will have to stand before you to give an account of our daily lives. So help us to live our lives in modesty and try to regulate our relationship with one another. We commit the witness that will be before the Trrc this day. Grant him the boldness to come here and speak the truth. And also grant the commission the discerning spirit to discern between truth and falsehood. Grant the population, the people of this nation, the Gambia, and those of the diaspora, also the patience, to allow the due process to take its proper course. And we know at the end of it all, you will grant this nation peace, stability. In Jesus' name we pray, present thanksgiving. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much indeed, Bishop. Council, if we are ready with this morning's witness, please proceed to hear him in.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, commissioners and members of the audience. May I ask that the witness be brought in, please?
Thank you.
I do swear that I'll speak the truth, whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Good morning, Mr. Sow. Welcome to the Trrc.
Good morning, Great Council.
Mr. Sow, as a matter of practice before this commission, we do allow for interpretation in the local languages, even though the witness may be speaking in English. That is done so that those listening at home may be able to follow the proceedings. In which local language would you wish that the proceedings be interpreted into?
In full.
Thank you very much. We would make arrangements, Mr. Chair. Kindly allow for a few minutes so so that arrangements will be made for translation, interpretation rather, into the Fula language. Well, Mr. Witness, I would encourage you to pay attention to the interpretation. In the event that there are mistakes in the interpretation, you may help to correct them. I wish my Fula was good enough. Unfortunately, it's not. Mr. Witness, you've just taken an oath to speak the truth. You know the drill. It's a criminal offense. It's an offense to lie on the oath. It's also an offense to provide false information to the TRRC. Are you aware of that?
Yes.
Council owi joni wayri ari ɗo hande pro CDA mangal ɗum dey ko yakkugol luwa sa ari ɗo e nder o leydi a haali a huuɗi alqur'ana a haali ko wona gonga ɗum ko yakkugol luwa.
Could you answer now? You should
Yes,
answer.
yes, I know you. You cancel. Cancel me.
Yes, so always answer after the interpretation.
Okay, thank you.
And allow for at least a brief 3 seconds between your speech and that of the interpreter so that there won't be any overlap. What are your full names?
Ko hoɗum woni inde ma e yettode ma?
My name is Demba Sow.
Demba Sow.
What's your date and place of birth?
Koto jibineɗa e ñande hombo jibineɗa?
6 June 67 in Kampasa village.
June 1967, Sara Wetende, Kampasa.
Jeego.
But where is Kampasa?
Kampasa ko hoto woni?
In Fonyi Jarong, West Coast region.
Fonyi Jarol, Kundu West Coast region.
Where did you go to school?
Hoto yaɗa ko jangde made école hombo yaɗa?
St. John Pasco School.
St. John?
In Sintet.
Pasco School, Sara Wetende, Sintet.
And thereafter?
Gila iwɗa ɗon hoto jaaɗa?
Brikama Secondary School for 1 year, then St. Peter's Technical High School.
Miye Brigama Secondary School, hitande wotra, mi miye St. Peter's.
You have pursued other academic courses.
A waɗino jangde goɗɗe ɗe mo annduɗa nandani e ɗin ɗon.
So could you tell us about them?
Joni haalan men ɗin ɗon kala no wayi hoto yaaɗa ko hoɗum sifa gandal jannguɗa ɗon?
Diploma in Management Studies at the MDI.
Heɓi diplôme e ɗum woni no toppitoto ligge no yarata ɗum woni jande wiyetende Management Development Institute MDI.
In 2008.
Jande wiyetende 2008.
2013 to 2017, I did my LLB and BL respectively.
2013 ha 2013 2017 maybe BA.
BL.
BL.
LLB and BL.
LLB kanyum e BL.
Are you called to the bar?
Yes, I'm going to do that.
Ay mi non dama ka darde wiyetende ñawore nde.
You are a lawyer.
No wayno an ka a lawyer?
Yes, lead counsel.
Ay counsel komi lawyer jo min kadi.
You entered the police force, Gambia police force, in which year?
Yande istande hombo fuɗɗuɗa wonde police?
September 1985.
Every September 1985.
That would be 36 years ago, isn't it?
Ɗum wona duuɓi capantati e jeego ɓaawo?
Yes, lead counsel.
Ay counsel.
You would admit that that is a very, very long time.
A jaɓaɗe ɗon ɓooyi hande joni?
Yes, lead counsel.
Ay ɓooyi kay.
And that gives you extensive experience in policing.
No wayno dal ɗum hokkima gandal mo annduɗa no yaaƴi no mawni kala e sengol ligge police?
Yes, lead counsel.
Ay counsel.
Where have you worked as a police officer? Give us just a brief rundown of the places you have worked as a police officer and the positions.
Joni haalan men dulaji mo annduɗa ko ɗon ligguɗa e ligge police?
After passing out in
86, I was at the Banjul station as a general duty officer.
mi gayni jangugol angol e golle police en 1986 ko Banjul wonno gollude te general duties ko dum
And the same year in 86, I was moved to Denton Bridge as a traffic officer.
e hitande wotere ndem mi 1986 ɓe naɓilan traffic office ligge traffic ka Denton Bridge.
And in 1992,
hitande 1992
I was moved to the police headquarters
ɓe naɓilan galle jane police aɓɓe
to form part of a newly created unit called the Complaints and Discipline Unit.
pour mi tawe golle darnade kese wiyetede complaint and discipline unit.
And after the coup in 1994,
le coup d'état on waɗi hitande 1994
we continued in that same unit.
min continue golle amen ɗen e ɗen ligge goto ɗen.
And in 1995,
hitande 1995
I moved to the CID, Serious Crime.
mi naɓa sengo CID serious crime.
1996,
hitande 1996
I was redeployed to the fraud squad.
ɓe naɓilan fraud squad ɓe andanawa ko ɓen toppitoto affaire tappela yagal ngal.
And I was at the fraud squad
e on
until
office
1999,
hitande 1999
when a new unit was also formed at the police headquarters called the Incident Planning Unit.
giɗannama ɓe darni toon pala ligge kose office kesso kadi wiyeteɗo incident plan unit.
I was moved there to head that unit barely for 1 year.
ɓe naɓilan toon mi wona yeesojo on toon mi heeɓi toon hitande.
And in 2000, I was again moved to the fraud squad.
hitande 2000 ɓe naɓirlan ɓe rutinlan fraud squad kadi.
And in 2007, I was promoted to an assistant superintendent of police
2007 ɓe ɓeydi makama on woni assistant superintendent police
and posted to LRR as the officer commanding.
ɓe naɓilan tundu LRR tundu mansa kongo to ɓe woni officer commanding manan ko min police aɓe wonɓe toon ɓen komi woni yeesoɓe maɓɓe.
And in 2003, I was transferred back to head the mobile traffic unit at Kanifing.
2003 ɓe addilan mobile traffic pour mo wona yeesojo traffic on ton.
And later to Banjul traffic.
yeeso seeɗa ɓe naɓilan Banjul traffic.
And in 2004 May
2004 hitande 2004 lewru mai
May 15th,
sappo e joyi mayru
I was deployed to Sierra Leone under the UNAMC peacekeeping.
ɓe naɓilan leydi Sierra Leone ɗum woni danɗe tabintingol toon jam.
I was there till February 2006 when I returned.
miɗo toon ha lewru février 2006 mi arti.
And in February, I was deployed back to fraud squad as the officer commanding.
février kadi ɓe naɓirlan fraud squad pour mo wona toon yeesojo on.
And in July of 2006,
lewru July 2006
I was promoted to a superintendent of police
ɓe ɓeydi makama on ɓe waɗilam superintendent police
and appointed as the head of the crime, called the crime management coordinator.
suɓilam ɓe waɗilan yeesojo toppitotoɗo ɗum woni baɗe bonɗe waɗoɗe ɗen.
And in 2006 December,
joni hitande 2006 hitande lewru décembre
I had a 1 week termination of service.
ɓe taƴi golle an ɗen goyata yontere.
That was on the 7th of December. I was given a letter of termination of service.
no heeɓi lewru décembre balɗe mum jeeɗiɗi ɓe jonilan letar wondema ɓe taƴi golle an ɗen.
Though I didn't know what the reasons were.
gonga mi andano ko honɗum sababi ko honɗum mi waɗi.
1 week later on the 14th,
lewru yontere wotere nden yontere koɓe taƴi golle an ɗen nde yontere hikkinde e mum nden
I was reinstated
nden ndu lewru wotu ndu balɗe sappo e nayyi maru ɓe ruttinila e golle ɗen kadi
and redeployed to the NIA.
ɓe naɓilan ligge wiyeteɗe NIA.
And at the NIA too,
ton NIA ton kadi
I was part of the investigation team.
miɗo tawano miɗo tawano e kafu yimɓe ɓe andanda wonde ko kamɓe lijjindinta ɓe andanda ɓe adda toon heɓe tuuma goɗɗum.
And in January, I think January 22nd,
seki lewru January noga e ɗiɗi mayru
I was promoted to a director
be beedi makama ngon be wadilan director
and appointed as the Director of Internal Security.
be subilan be wadilan director mo andanda wonno kanko toppitoto be gardugal ko wonta kon kader ton tigi woni internal security.
In 2008 July,
lewru 2008 lewru July
I was suspended from the NIA for a certain allegation that was a subject of investigation.
be hadilang yahugol NIA te ko sababi dum ko don no hari ko wodi ko be wonno liccindinde fi an be taji be hadila yahugol ton taw.
Subsequently, on the 19th of September 2008,
o gila du yawti lewru December 19
September
September 2008
I was charged to court and dismissed on the 22nd of September.
2 milan be nabilang court be rudilang September.
So from September to May 2010,
landama lewru September hal lewru May 2010
I was out of the system.
mi yalti e golle den.
Of course, from 19th of September to May 10th, 2010,
lewru May sappo e jeenaru mayru kanuma e 2010
I was at the Mile 2 prisons.
yo kaso mawdo.
And in April 24th,
lewru April noga e nay mayru
2013,
2013 hitande den
I was reinstated
rutini lang e golle den
to the NIA.
du woni NIA.
And of course, the reinstatement states I should go back to where I was in
Yes.
2018.
kaydi ndin ko holliri ɗon kon ɓe ɓe ruttini lan golle kono mi ruttoto kam mi wonno ton.
But that was not the case. I was posted at a certain unit called the Analysis as Director.
kono wona noon kam wonno ton wona to mi rutti ko sengo ko kadi mi ruttiti ka wiyete analyse ko ɓe andana wonde ko kamɓe seɗeta ko kala ko wandana hino jiiɓodir ɗon ko kamɓe seɗata ɗum ha laaɓa.
And in that same year, around September, I was
nden hitare wotere nden kadi
transferred to head the External Security Wing as Director.
e nattilam ɗum woni sengo fedde joguingue ngam ɓe andana ko kamɓe jogui gardu ndun e yaasi on
And
wona
in
yeesojo on ton kadi.
September 2014,
lewru September 2014 kadi
I was deployed back to the police where I came from.
e nattilan sengo police ngon kam iwroni iwri ɗon.
And I was posted at the Policy and Planning Unit of the Gambia Police Force as a commissioner.
e nabilan ka sengo wayandana ka police and planning unit mi wona yeesojo on ton.
And in 2015,
hande 2015
I was posted as the Commissioner of Administration at the police headquarters.
e nabilan police headquarters mi wona yeesojo mo andanda wonde kanko toppitoto e golle ɗen no yarata noon administration.
April 2016, I was moved again
lewru March 2015 ɓe ittilan kadi
as Commissioner of the Interpol and the Criminal Intelligence.
ɓe nabilan wona yeesojo ɗum woni commissioner Interpol ko andanda wonde police ɓe andanda aduna on fof police kafumo ɓe hawti on wona yeesojo on ton.
March of 2017,
lewru March 2017 March o walla May
July, yes, I was
July.
again
ha joni
posted to be the Crime Management Coordinator as Commissioner.
pour mi wona commissioner ɗum woni waɗuɓe baɗe bonɗe ɗen ɗo ɓe toppitorte.
And in
2018 hitande 2018
around July,
de July
I was again moved to the admin as the Commissioner of Admin.
ha joni kadi mi ruttina admin ɗum woni police sengo police toppitoɗo ɗo ligge ɗen fof no yarata noon.
And in 2019,
hitande 2019
after my elevation to an Assistant Inspector General of Police,
ila ɓe ɓeydi makama an on pour mi wona assistant inspector general of police.
there was an internal restructuring.
te ɗum woni nder police ton on ɓe waɗi ɓe sansuno hen gueɗe place uji ɗuɗuɗi.
And I was moved to as the AIG crime, the CMC.
ɓe nabilan wona AIG ɗo ɗum woni CMC crime management coordinator.
And that's where I am as we speak.
ni ka wonɗo ko ɗon mi woni.
In a sense, you have worked in most of the relevant officers at the Gambia Police Force.
no wayno dal a liggi ɗo office aji kewɗi wanduɗa ɓenin tawa ley police Gambia ɗo.
Yes, Council.
Council.
You have also worked at the NIA.
a liggi no kala ɗo NIA.
Yes, Council.
Council.
Do you recall in 2006,
mi anda sa siftorat
March
hitande 2006 March lewru March 2006
when you were appointed to work in one of the panels investigating the alleged Trrc coup d'etat?
on tuma noon ɓe suɓinoma ɓe nattinima e nder kafo mo annduɗa ko ɗum wiyete panel pour on dartina e coup d'état yakkunoɗo mo annduɗa Trrc heeɗuno on coup d'état.
Yes, Council.
Council.
Can you tell us how the panel was formed?
Joni
As far as you know?
an no andirɗa ɗum wawa men haalande panel on yimɓe wonɓe nder panel on hono ɓe suɓira.
Council, on this fateful day,
Council nde ñalande
this was 3 weeks after my resumption of duties at the police
no
headquarters.
heɓi jonte tati guilandama mi ruttinta e golle ɗen.
I was at home
miɗo galle
around 8 p.m.
e wattuji jeetati ñalorma.
Somebody called me,
Wodi nodduɗo lam.
if I can remember, I think it was Boto Keta.
Miɗo wawi mandidade mi sikki ko wiyeteɗo Boto Keta ko on noddi lam.
These were officers who were part of the major crime.
E ko yimɓe ɓe andanda wanda hiɓe tawa e sengo police don liggoto e sengo ligge police wiyete major crime.
Inform me, just to inform me kind of,
familinan tan
that whether I was aware of any attempted coup.
o landila wondema ndah miɗo tini wondema e wodi falanoɓe hippade leydi ndi.
And I said no,
imomi ala.
and he informed me that yes, there was an attempted coup and it has been foiled.
Famila no ila hari wodi falanoɗo hippade laamu ngu kono ɓe boni.
And that police officers were converged at the PIU headquarters at Kanifing, including the IGP.
Non ni police ɓen hiɓe noddaɓe fo PIU ka galle maɓe jane e kañum e yeesojo police ɗon ɓe fo hiɓe ton.
That was just for my information.
ɗum woni o faminina.
Well, whilst at home I felt, I also need to be part of the team at the PIU.
nde mi wonno ko galle gila o faminuna mi yi e hooram min gadde aw miɗo fotno tawede o la kaɓe police aɓe won ɗon woni PIU ka paraji gadde
At this
paraji.
stage, what was your rank?
on tuma noon ko hoɗum makama marnoɗa e nder police?
Assistant Superintendent of Police.
makama mum jogui noon ko ɗum wiyete assistant superintendent of police.
Would you consider that to have been a senior rank at the time?
noon a wawa wiide ko place mo annduɗa ko place mawɓe e nder police.
It forms part of the cadre of the senior.
eyyi mo tawa e yeesoɓe ɓe police aɓe.
Proceed, please.
o wi joni continua.
I drove to the PIU headquarters.
mi doggini motango mi yehi ka police paraɓe ɗo.
And I found IGP and some other senior officers with personnel of the major crime unit.
tawi toon yeesojo police amen kañum may police aɓe mawɓe yeesojo ɓe goo hiɓe toon.
Who was the IGP at the time?
on tuma ko hombo wonno IGP?
Usman Sonko wonno IGP on woni yeesojo police aɓe on jamanu.
Then he told me that, so,
wilan wondema sow
oh, you are here? I said yes.
o hiɗa ɗo?
I said yes.
momi eyyi miɗo ɗo.
Okay. And he told me, well, there is an attempted coup.
wilan wondema awa joni nan woodi falanoɓe hippade laamu ngu.
And the soldiers are going around to effect arrest.
joni ni ka wonɗo militaire ɓen hiɓe yahude taragol nangugol yimɓe.
So I will want you to lead the team for the NIA to form part of panel of investigation.
joni min komi faala an kadi taweɗa e yimɓe ɓe andandama wondema ɓe yaha e NIA pour ɓe wawa tawede yimɓe ɓe andana ɓe liggintina fi affaire ɓe yimɓe ɓe andana wonda ɓe falanoɓe hippade laamu ngu.
I had no option but to accept it.
on kam wonɗon ko haalannolan ɗon kon feere ala nala noon ko be mi nanga ko wi mi jaɓa ko wi ko.
So I mobilized these officers of the major crime and we all drove to the NIA headquarters.
non min kadi mi mottidiri ɓe yimɓe ɓe andanda wondema heɓe liggo sengo police wiyete major crime min yeehi ka NIA.
And we joined the panel.
yehi min bokke be o panel foto be liggintinde affaire be yimbe men andanda wano be falano hippade lamu
which comprises of the police,
no tawa e ben police abe no e mabbe
the NIA,
ben no e mabbe
and the military.
may ni soldat be
Kindly name them. Could you kindly name the members of the panel?
Awa men halande inde yimbe manduda kambe wonno e nder panel o.
From the police side is me, Demba Sow,
sengo police abe no tawa e mum min Demba Sow,
Inspector Lamin Sise,
Inspector Lamin Cisse,
Sergeant Sedindu.
Sergeant Sedi Ndour,
I think Boto Keta then was a corporal, Corporal Boto Keta,
siki on jamanu Boto Keta ko corporal wonno makama makon Corporal Boto Keta,
Lamin Cham,
Lamin Cham,
and Ablai Sow.
may Abdoulaye Sow.
From the NIA, I know Hydra was there.
Sengo
Modou
ena
Haidara.
sengo ena be mi de fami wondema Haidara no don Abdoulaye Haidara Modou Haidara
There was Yusuf Afai,
kanyum may wete do Yusuf Fay
Usman Bojang,
Usman Bojang
and others. I cannot remember their names.
kanyum may wobbe go be andanda ma wonda mi wawa ta mani dare inde ma
Yes, there was a Bajika.
bajinka jono don
And then on the military side, we had Bo Baji, I think,
sengo militaire soldaru ben wete do ton bobaji no ton misiki
Falli Java,
may falli jabang
I think Musa Bojang.
sikki wete do Musa Bojang
These were the ones I could remember.
be woni yimbe be andanda mi do wawi mani dawe debe
And we didn't have any kind of formal briefing with any of the authorities except for the fact that
gila me hewti to me hebani jonde nde andanda ma no be joddini me be yewtina men be ko golle amen non kono hana si tawi woni wonda ma si feƴƴi
I was told by my IG then that I should join a panel to investigate people alleged of plotting.
si feƴƴi ko yeso jango ɗum woni police yeso police ɓen ayji on ko wi'unolan ko wondema miɗo foti yawde joni mi bokka e ɓe yimɓe ɓe anda ɓe liggindina ɓe yimɓe ɓe anda ɓe tulma e dow ngal kuwe hippagol laamu ngu
But at a personal level,
And these are the members of the panel.
Ko be woni yimbe manduda
Yes,
kambe
yes.
wonno e nder panel o.
at a personal level,
Hold a second. These were the official members of the panel.
Ko be woni yimbe manduda be subi men pour be wona e nder panel o.
well, these are the members of the panel that I am talking about.
eyyi ko ɓe woni yimɓe ɓe andama ɓe tawano e panel on ko ɓe woni haalde fimo
Proceed.
So we continue.
yettira ɗon
At a personal level,
e sango am min o
I had a briefing with the police officers.
mi heɓuno yewtere ɓe andandama mi heɓi ɗiɗum e police aɓe ɓen tawanoɓe toon ɓen
And I told them
yiwiɓe wondema
we are here
ɓen ɗo
as investigators.
wawen lijjintinde affaire on
So we should try to do what it takes
den wawi awayden wawi etade jokken golle men ɗon no wi'iri noon
to do our job properly.
waɗen golle men ɗon no haniri noon
Whatever is needed,
kala ko andanda hino haajora
we should try to ensure that we do it
den foti etade yiyen wondema waɗen ɗum
in regards to establishing the veracity of the allegation.
yiyen wondema tuumal ngal andandama no hino tega e ɓe yimɓe yiyen ɗum wawi yaltinde ma tabintinen ɗum
That was my briefings with them.
nden yewtere mi heɓidi e maɓɓe kamɓe e sengo police aɓe ɓen
So we were ushered into a room upstairs,
e dow étage on dow ɓe naɓi men e suudu wondu
which was supposed to be the venue for the panel.
ton min fotno heɓude nde yewtere panel on
It's an open room, I think it's a conference room.
suudu yadude seetam sigi ko conference um suudu dandanda wonde hoɓɓe ko ton e watte yewtata jotto yewda
And we have chairs
heɓi ɗon siranje
put up, around a table, a conference table
e siranje hiɗe tarna e tabal
for the panel members to occupy.
andandama ɓe yimɓe waɗoɓe ɗe golle ɗen kaɓe jooɗoto
And in front of that same table, there was an executive chair
Yes,
meant for the suspects.
ngal yeeso ngal tabal kadi e siranno joɗɗina ɗon pour neɗɗo ma andanda wonda himo tuuma e ngol hippagol laamu ngon ko joɗɗinte ɗon o lande
Then we were sitting blindly waiting.
en fof har minen jooɗi men e nder niɓɓere men habbade.
And later,
yeeso seeɗa
this was at night,
ko jemma wonno sa,
the first suspect was ushered in.
neɗɗo folomo ɓe andana wonno ko kanko ɓe soɓiti no tawa e hippagol laamu ngun o adda,
Who happened to be known later to be Bunja Dabo.
on neɗɗo yeeso seeɗa men andi wondema ko wiyete Bunja Dabo.
He was the first to be engaged by the panel.
kanko woni neɗɗo premier mo andana wondema o heɓidi yewtere e panel on.
He was moved in by soldiers.
militaire uɓe naatini mo nder ka panel on jooɗino ton.
Who was present in the room?
Ombo tawano e nder suudu.
At that time, I believe it was only the panel members that at that time.
sikkide on wattunu ko menen panel yimɓe ar liƴƴi foɗɓe lijjindinde affaire makko on nan ko menen wonno nder ton.
Later,
yeeso seeɗa
during the engagements,
wattu mo ɓen yewtidani e makko on ton,
and I think I saw Musa Jame and Tumbu. These were very frequent persons in that
sikki
panel.
mi yi Moussa Jamme kañum e wiyete tumbul ɓe ko yimɓe ɓe anda wondema wattuɓe arayno ton.
Then Dabo was ushered in.
wondema Dabo o adda nder
He was on cuffs,
yimɓe ceenno juuɗe makko ɗe,
and we felt that was wrong.
enen tigi minen jooɗi ɓe toon ɓe yi wondema e faami wondema ɗum ɗo yaadani e laawol,
And we requested that the cuffs be moved.
janti wondema pour ɓe itta ko ɓe ceeni kon juuɗe makko ɗe.
Then we start engaging him blindly because we were not informed of what their level of involvement were.
non wattu men fuɗɗi e golle amen ɗen e nder niɓɓere sabu min haalanno ko honɗum tigi honno affaire o yaari.
Did you have any objections to the situation at the time?
on tuma on heɓno
The cops?
no woodi salnoɓe pour ɓe itta hankof o e jungo makko.
No, counsel, at that time I did.
Hala on wattu hay ɗum waɗano hay goto.
Proceed, please.
Oui, continue.
Well, we led him in questioning as to his alibis, what his activities were, and
wattu men fuɗɗimo landade kanko ko honɗum woni e sengo makko honno heɓiri jungo e tuumal ngal.
before that, in fact, we told him
ɓiɗɗo e ɗum tigri min wi'imo wondema
that we were a panel instituted to investigate
menen
about an alleged
menen ko men panel yimɓe ɓe andanama men suɓama pour men wawa lijjindinde tuumal ngal ɓe tigi ngal e hoore ma pour min wawa
and that his fate is determined by his own statement.
te kanko tigiri miijo makko ko woni ko e makko kon ɗum ɗon min heɓi ɗum e makko ko e makko.
We urge him to cooperate in telling us what he knows about the allegation.
min jondi min yamiri mo wondema yo haalu ko andi kon e tuumal ngal fof ko ɓe tegi kon e hoore makko.
Then we ask questions and he answers.
donc e dow ɗum ko noon woni min landoto o jaabo.
Before going further, I would want to state this.
ɗo mi yahude e yewtere nden mi faala haalde ɗum ɗo.
The police are divided into two groups.
sengo police aɓe min feccuno e hoore amen e ceɗɗe ɗiɗi.
Myself and Cisse were to do or to be part of the interrogators or the people who do the interviews.
min e Cisse ko minen wonno wondema min suɓano pour min tawe yimɓe ɓe andana wonde ɓe wona e landagol e jaabagol ngol.
And the rest were now going to do the jottings of what is being said so that they will be able to obtain their statements.
e diɓɓe ɓen ɗon wona yimɓe ɓe andanama wondema on tuuma ɗon ko haalata kon ɓe winda e ɗum ɗo a yiya e wondema e dow ɗum awa ɓe wawa windude konngol makko ngol.
So Mr. Dabo was interviewed.
Mr. Dabo o woni neɗɗo wonna o landama.
And he said what he knows.
haali ko andi kon.
And he was ushered into an adjoining office within the conference premises.
e dow ɗum ɗum yawti ɓe yaltino ɓe naɓimo e office goɗɗo e gon sengo woto ngon.
Where his statement was to be obtained.
on office o mo naɓira ɗon ko ɗon ɓe ƴettata konngol makko ngol te konngol makko ngol ɓe winda e ngol.
After Bunja, I think that day we only had one witness. I'm not sure.
ɗum feƴƴi seeɗa Bunja mi sikki ñande sa ko seeɗa goto men heeɓi kono mi hoolaki ha ko honno.
And then the trend continues.
ko noon ɗum yaari.
Sometimes we stay very late.
wattuji go men wonay toon ha niɓɓa.
And come late morning.
aroya si weedi ɓe hara ñalli seeɗa.
Continue. So most of the suspects would be escorted like Bunja was escorted. By people in black, and some of them would appear before us in a very terrible state. Of course, with torn shirts and bruises on their body. But then we will still interview them as they would want to talk, and their statements would be recorded. And during this period,
Could you tell us the modus operandi, how the panel worked?
Awa men halande ligge den no yaari panel on no be wadiri ligge mabbe.
well, whether modus of what normally happens or what was happening, the panel members would be in the room. The show was entirely a military show. So all, if not most, if not all, the arrests were done by military officers. So as we sit in the room, these arresting officials would be the ones doing the arrest and bringing them into the I don't know whether that answers your question.
I want to know the entire scheme that was going on in that place.
Mi fala andude piiji ɗin fof no yarata e nder ɗum dula ɗon ɗo won ɗon.
The apparatus at work that produced the report that you guys signed. The commission wants to understand the scheme, how you did your work.
Hono waɗirɗon ha on heɓi haala e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe. Commission o noon ɓe faala andude hono liggirɗon, hono waɗirɗon ha ɓeya haali ha on heɓi konngol e juuɗe ɓe mo annduɗa ko ɓen adda ɗon.
Council, as I said earlier, the role of the police was to investigate and to determine the veracity of the allegations. And we form part of a panel with other services. So the setup or the modus operandi that you asked, what I can comfortably say is the panelists were within the room and the officers or the suspects were ushered into the room by a different team who I would not confirm are part of the panel anyway. But they were facilitating the work of the panel by bringing the suspects into the room.
That was it. Look, Mr. Witness, you're a lawyer. You are a seasoned police officer. You are coordinator of crime management. You have occupied the highest offices for criminal investigation in this country. You are Assistant Inspector General of Police. You are asked to describe the apparatus, the scheme that produced that report. Is this the only thing you can tell us?
Council o wi an place uji mo marɗa aɗon mari place uji kewɗi ko inni ɗo ko a woni yeesowo mo annduɗa kamɓe onon toppitota bade bonde mo annduɗa yimɓe no waɗa ɗum onon toppita ɗum a yahi ha a mari place uji kewɗi e nder ligge police yo ɗin place uji noon fof ko place uji mo annduɗa ko place uji waɗi yawɗi dow te noon joni kanko ko o lamdi ko ɗum woni no feereji ko on waɗi e nder on suudu ha on heɓi haala e juuɗe ɓeya ko hoɗum waɗa ɗon ko hoɗum e hoɗum ɓe toppita ɗon pour ɓe yimɓe haala o walla ɓe yimɓe mo annduɗa ɓe addi ɗumen ɗon ko hono ɓe haaliri ko ɗin ɗon rek on lamdoto pour o anda tigi hoɗum waɗa ɗon ha ɓe yimɓe haali.
Is this your testimony about what happened at the panels?
No wayno dal ko ɗum woni haalaji seede ma ko waɗa ɗon e nder panel o.
Council, I have said
Council mi haali de
what the police rule was,
golle police ɓen ko honɗum
and
wonno ɗon
the rest of the panel members.
ɓeyɗa hedditiɓɓen ɓe andadama wona police ɓe.
And I have said
mi haali wondema kadi
some of the suspects
woodi e maɓɓe ɓe andana ko ɓen tumaɓɓen
will be brought in
adda e ɓe nder suudu ton
in conditions that are not good at all, very bad.
ɓe addi ɓe haare woɓɓe maɓɓe no ɓe woniri noon
As they would have scars,
bonande ɗo heeɓi bonande
bruises, and
balli maɓɓe ɗin fof
tattered shirts,
butteji ɗin fof no seeki
meaning some other things have happened to them. Maybe they must have been beaten
ko honɗum firti ko ɗum woni awa no wawi haare woɓɓe maɓɓe ɓe lappama
before
koɓe
coming
ɓe
to
adde
us.
ɗo eɓe addede kamen wonɗon menen
And of course they will be seated,
ko gonga ɓe joɗɗinayi ɓe
and then we will do the interrogations.
enen ɗon men fuɗɗo landagol amen ngol
And this applies to almost all the suspects.
ɓe yimɓe tumaɓen fof miɗo wawi wiide wondema no wawi ɓen fof ko ɗum ngol lawol gotol ngol ko noon men
And
ƴettiri
apart from the panel members that I have named, the NIA police and the staff,
ɓe panel membre ɓe landoto ɓe mi haali ɗo en police soldat ɓen kañuma e ena ɓe
we also would have the likes of Lantombong and Sonko, Usman Sonko,
en heɓa e toon ɗum woni neɗɗo wawɗo ni lantombon kañumma e Ousmane Sonko en
sitting within the room.
jotto kamɓe kadi haara ɓe jooɗi ka nder suudu toon
Harry Sambu would be coming once in a while.
Hari Sambu kanko wattuji ko aray toon
And we had the likes of Musa Jame and Tumbul Tamba, who are almost there every other time. If one is not there, sometimes both would be in,
wattuji ko
otherwise one of them would be in.
Musa Jamme kañumma e Tumbul Tamba wattuji ko simɓe fof ɓe ala toon goto e maɓɓe wona e toon ungo wattu fof
And at few occasions I saw Martin then.
wattu heɓɓi keno toon mi yii toon wiyeteɗo Martin kadi
And also we had within some armed military officers within the room.
ka nder suudu toon kadi mi yiyay toon yimɓe ɓe andanda wondema ko soldat uɓe anda heɓe jogui joranji fetelji
And
e suudu toon
that aside also, the condition was not the best of conditions. It was very bad.
e gonga kono muɗum wawma wiide wondema toon no walorno no affaire no walorno toon ɗum ara moƴƴani hay seeɗa no
To the extent that even us, the investigators, were hesitating to even be talking.
minen mi andana minen woni landade ɓe minen wattuji ko haare minen huuli e no affaire o walore noon
I think you forthcoming, you coming up with the issues gradually, bit by bit.
sikku a fuɗɗi yaltinde ko min falno andude seeɗa seeɗa e no haalirta ni
And I think that is a better approach than a very sanitized testimony about what has happened.
mi sikku noon ko ɗum ɓuri moƴƴu e ɓura e no fuɗɗirɗa ni aɗo laɓɓina piiji ɗin no woniri ni kono noon on tuma no haalirta ni aɗo moƴƴina piiji ɗin no woniri ɗon
Let me ask
oɗo mi landoma
you, what happened there? Was it lawful? Was it in accordance with the law?
ko waɗa e nder on suudu ɗum noon no yaari e luwaji leydi ndina
Until there was a sitting government at the time.
council haare ko
Mr. Witness, answer my question.
laamu wonno
If you need to explain further, I will give you the opportunity. Would you answer my question directly?
It's a yes and no, Council.
Yes, tell us the yes.
Yes, the police were there and the panel was instituted, which was very normal, common in those days. That was not the first panel, although with me, yes, that was the first, but panel has been instituted. And instituted based on circumstances. In this case, there was a circumstance that demanded the institution of a panel. There were people who wanted to create unconstitutionality.
Mr. Witness, just answer the question. Was it?
I said yes or no. So
what happened there, was it legal or was it illegal? You are telling us about that all the things you have said have no direct bearing on the answer. Was it legal or was it illegal?
I said yes and no. You said I should explain.
Explain, but...
So I'm explaining the yes, and I can explain the yes, no.
But all the things you have said have no bearing. Have no bearing on the answer.
Well, that's my answer. If it has no bearing to, that is what I understand from the question.
Let's pair ourselves with irrelevant issues and focus on the relevant issues. Was it legal or was it illegal?
Yes or and no, Council. That's my answer.
Okay, tell us why it was illegal.
It was illegal because people were brought in conditions that were not the least bearable, acceptable by the panelists. You can investigate without beating, without torturing anybody.
And why was it legal?
It was legal because we were investigating an activity that has to do with toppling a government.
Mr. So, how on earth can one issue be both legal and illegal? How on earth?
How
in one legal system, how can an activity be both legal and illegal at the same time?
Ko hunde manduɗa no waɗa joni noon on hono wawata wonde hunde ngo sengo wiya mboni yaadi e loi ngoɗo sengo o yaadani e loi.
And so I can only present my facts for the determination of the commission. Legality and illegality, as far as my take is concerned, I will present what I know, and it will be a subject of scrutiny by the commission.
But the question is an easy one. You said what happened was legal, both legal and illegal. So I ask you the question.
Ko halda ko wiɗa ko waɗa ɗon salari no yaadi e loi kono sa ndaari kala wa yaadani e loi ko ɗum o landunoma ko ɗum noon o faala pour firta.
How on earth can an activity be both legal and be illegal at the same time?
Hunde mo annduɗa waɗama ɗon hono wawata hunde mo annduɗa no yaadi e loi o yaadani e loi kala.
Because what you have said is a fundamental contradiction in terms.
Ko hala manduɗa go sengo mboni hala kano yedda hoore makko.
Sub Council is telling me that the issue of the overthrow was legal. Then everything will be illegal. That's my take.
Mr. Witness, the question you are asked is whether the activity, the investigative activity, all the things that you have done there, were those things legal or were they illegal? Were they lawful or were they unlawful? That's what you are asked.
Ko landima ko ɗum woni no landirton ɓe yimɓe mo annduɗa ko ɓen adda ɗon ko ɓen tuuma no on landiri ɓen ɗon e piiji ɗin mo annduɗa yaadi e o lamdagol ko liggeji ko waɗɗo ɗon ko ɗum o faala andude hono ɗin ligge walla hono ɗum piiji waɗa ɗum noon no yaadi e loi walla o yaadani e loi ko ɗum o faala andude.
So if you say all, that's why I'm saying yes or no, because I know not everything I do or the panel did was wrong. That's my take. So I can only present it as I understand it at the time.
Mr. Witness, if you carry out lawful activities in the investigation and you carry out other unlawful activities, wouldn't it vitiate, wouldn't it tarnish the whole entire activity and render it unlawful?
Ko joni si piiji ɗin yaari ni e nder ligge mo annduɗaa ko ɗum waɗɗon si ta on waɗi ɗon piiji goɗɗi mo annduɗaa no yaadi e loi on mbaɗi ɗon kala piiji goɗɗi mo annduɗaa o yaadaani e loi ɗum waawa yakkude inde ligge mon ko mbanno ɗon fof e ɗum waawa ɗum yakkude yakka inde ko ligguɗon ko.
Wouldn't it?
That would be subjected to interpretation based on the facts that are presented.
Like
no
what?
heddi
Like what interpretation?
no heddi no ɗum nantindira no firtira no.
The issue of vitiating all the rights because of a certain conduct. To me, I would agree that there were a lot of unlawful activities, yes.
So would those unlawful activities render void or unlawful the enterprise that you are doing? Okay,
No.
let me revise it. You carried out investigations to collect statements, correct?
Liggintini pour mbawa hebde konngol e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe manduɗa kamɓe tuuma.
Yes, Council.
Eyi.
And their statements were unlawfully obtained.
te noon konngol mo annduɗa ko ɗin heɓɗon e juuɗe ɓeeɗo no heɓirɗon ɗum yaadani e laawol.
Maybe you need to come up a bit so that I understand what you want me to say.
Okay. And there were illegalities in the process, correct?
no waɗirɗon ligge ɗen no woodi piiji mo annduɗa yaadani e laawol.
Yes, there were, yes, I've said that.
And wouldn't those illegalities render those statements illegally obtained?
Joni piiji mo annduɗa no tawa ɗon mo yaadani e laawol tigi tigi ɗin ɗon wawa yakkude konngol mo annduɗa ko ɗi kongi on heɓi e juuɗe ɓe yimɓe.
If that is subjected to legal interpretation by yes, because that's why.
But what other interpretation can we subject them to apart from legal?
Kono joni non hono men laarirta ɗum e men wiya ɗum ɗon ko ni wayi sita men ɓaŋani laawol mo annduɗa ko on laawol men fotno ɓaŋde.
Council, when I say legal, I am talking about the verdicts. That's what I'm talking about. Because at the end of the day, we've seen police obtaining statements. Somebody said, I'm tortured. It goes to court, and it is subjected to that interpretation. That's what I mean. That's the interpretation.
That is not an interpretation. That is a trial for the purposes of determining evidence in order to establish whether there were illegalities to render it inadmissible.
Wona pour ɓe haalira no waɗirani ɗum ɗon ko laawol mo annduɗa ɓe ɓangi pour ɓe anda ko hoɗum waɗa ɗon ko sengo loi o haali on haaju walla no waalori pour ɓe anda gonga o hono yaari.
So what we are talking about is you already acknowledge that there were illegalities.
Komin haalata ɗo woni ko ɗum woni a haali gonga piiji goɗɗi waɗama ɗon yaadani e laawol.
You accept there were illegalities.
An hoorema a jaɓi ɗin ɗon dey yaadani e laawol.
Have you not?
Very well, I've said it.
Good. And wouldn't those illegalities render the process unlawful?
That's why I have a problem with you. I don't think I would conclude it that that's the only thing. But I said activities took place that were wrong.
Okay.
For it to conclusively say that every other activity was just that's where I have a problem. But it's subjected to
But what is your problem with that? Tell us the law which makes it a problem for you to accept my proposition.
Joni haala men luwa mo annduɗa ko ɗum waɗi ha a wawata jabde min e komi hollirini ɗo ko.
Council, your proposition is your proposition. I am telling you.
Tell us the law.
I am not after telling you the law. My understanding of
But Mr. Witness, you are a lawyer. I am a lawyer. The commission is here listening to the evidence that is being presented. The commission is advised also by lawyers. Tell us the law which renders my proposition untrue.
Yoni komi fala rek min komi hawlima ko hala men luwa mo anduda e ko dum yakki kongol am o komi hollirima do ko on luwa mi fala pour hala la.
Angelo, I don't think I said your proposition is untrue.
Mr. Witness, you are changing your position. You challenged my proposition. You said you cannot agree with it. I challenge you also. Tell me the law which makes my proposition untrue.
So we know komi hali komi hollima do awawa ta don jabde kono jon ko dum wadi mbima mi jodi hollam luwa mo anduda ko dum wadi ha an awawata bangde komi hollima ko.
I think council disagreeing with your question, I would not agree that that means your proposition is wrong.
So you are just disagreeing because you are being disagreeable.
No, I'm disagreeing because you are putting the whole thing into one context and saying, giving it that meaning. That's where I have.
Perhaps we can hold off the interpretation for now because this would not. This is legal. It wouldn't interest those watching at home. Mr. Witness, do you understand the concept of vitiating factors?
So I am here to tell you what I know as far as the...
Answer the question. Do you understand the concept of vitiating factors?
No, I don't.
Perhaps that is the problem. But let me explain it very briefly. If you take a drum of water, pure spring water, you put urine in it, you would not drink it, would you? Would you?
It depends on the circumstances you are concerned, I think.
Well,
you can drink urine depending on where you are.
Okay, so maybe you would, but I don't think any other normal person would knowingly drink water that has urine in it. So by putting the urine in it, you are in fact spoiling it. And that is vitiating factors in law. When you bring in a person and you torture the person, or you create an environment where a statement could not lawfully be obtained, the torture and that bad environment are vitiating factors. These are factors that would render the statement illegally obtained. Am I right in law?
If that is the law, I don't contest what the law says.
If that is the law, are you not sure about it? You are a lawyer. You are a seasoned police officer. You are Assistant Inspector General of Police. I will just move on, Mr. Chair. Perhaps this is the problem. Are you satisfied with the product of your work in that panel?
Ko ligguɗon e nder on panel o ɗon on ɗen liggenon no welima no yiɗir ɗum nani.
To an extent, yes, council.
And
that too is very shocking.
On kala non no woni hunde manduɗa no metti ɓernde no taƴa ɓernde.
And let's interrogate what happened in that panel.
Joni ndaren ko waɗa e panel on.
The panel comprised the police and NIA workers as interrogators and statement takers, correct?
Panel on police e yimɓe NIA kamɓe tawa e panel on kamɓe lamdata yimɓe kamɓe ɓangata konngol mo annduɗa ko ɓen ɗi yimɓe haalata tuumaɓe wonɓe ɗon.
And you would agree that the panel did not work alone?
Non a jaɓat panel o wona kamɓe tigi rek waɗi golle ɗen.
You agree?
Yes, council.
You agree that the environment in which these statements were taken, okay, before even we go to that, you say there were escorts, people who would bring the suspects wearing black.
awi yimɓe ari ɗon mo annduɗa kamɓe addata ɓe tuumaɓe te noon ɓen yimɓe ko ɓawli kon rek ɓe ɓornoto.
Did they carry guns?
ɓe noon ɓenin tammi fetelaji.
Yes, Council.
Council.
Did they wear masks over their faces?
nta ɓenin ɓorni kala masque e yeesoɓe maɓɓe.
Yes, Council.
Council.
Don't you find that intimidating?
ɗum noon wona hunde manduɗa no holɓina.
Yes.
ɗon kan no hulɓini.
Is that how a suspect has to be interviewed?
noon woni laawol manduɗa no moƴƴi pour yimɓe manduɗa ɓeni tuumimo ko noon ɓe foti ɗumen lamdirde.
They were not interviewing, Council.
wona kamɓe wonno e landade ɓe.
But if the suspect is put together with people who are intimidating, isn't that itself one of the factors that would render a confession inadmissible in court?
si ta neɗɗo manduɗa ɓenin tuumi on neɗɗo te noon on neɗɗo no waɗa e yimɓe walla omo wondi e yimɓe manduɗa ɓenin woni e nder on makama e manduɗa ɓenin hulɓine ɗum rek tigi tigi wawa yakkude e yimɓe ɓen ɓernde neɗɗo o ha o haala ɗum haala mo annduɗa wona anniya makko.
These are possible factors, yes.
ɗon no wawi waɗude.
And you said that these people were brought in, sometimes they are bruises, blooded, clothes torn. Doesn't that indicate that these people were manhandled?
yimɓe woɓɓe adda ɗon wiiɗa e wuttejo maɓɓe sa wutte ko ɓorni ko dulaji no seeki balli maɓɓe no waɗi gañande no wawno dal jiijam kala no woni e balli woɓɓe ɗum noon sa daari ɗum noon ko hono wayi ama an hoorema.
Isn't that indicative that these people were malhandled or manhandled?
sikku ɗum wawama hollude ɓe yimɓe dal ɓe nati e nder tampere.
Yes, Council.
ɗon ko gonga.
Isn't that a factor that would render a confession inadmissible?
ɗum noon tigi wawa wonde o neɗɗo ko si o haali goɗɗum ɗum dey sa daari sengo luwa wawa wonde haala mo annduɗa woɓɓe ɓagata ɗum.
Possible factors, yes.
It's a factor, yes. It's not a possible factor, it is a factor. You would agree with that?
That's from you, Council. My possible factor.
It is a factor, nonetheless. It is a factor that can render a confession inadmissible.
On ko dalila mo
According to
annduɗa
Council, please.
wawa yakkude e haala ko ɓe yimɓe haali.
According to law, Mr. Witness, if you know the law, you would accept that this is a factor that can render a statement inadmissible.
ko luwa o ko haali dey sa daari ɗum hunde komin haali ɗo joni on wawa wonde hunde mo annduɗa e yakkat e darde haala mo annduɗa woɓɓe wawata ɗum bangde.
True or false?
Possible factor, that's what I said, Council.
Well, if you wish, Mr. Witness, you can stick to incorrect or inaccurate statements of law. That's your choice. But if you want to answer questions truthfully, you would gladly accept that what I state is true.
Doni dey seede si welima a wawa ɓangde laaɓi mo annduɗa no yaadi e luwa no fewiri ni sa yiɗi kala wawa ɓangde laaɓi mo annduɗa ko ɗin laaɓi an hoorema a yiɗi ɗum fof a wawa laarde hoorema ndaara ko ɓagata.
That is a factor that could negate or that could invalidate a statement. That could render a statement inadmissible.
nomi yiri ɗum e sengo luwa neɗɗo sita natti e nder tampere on sifa tampere wawa wonde haaju kala ko haali ko on tampere ko fawa e dow on neɗɗo si o haali goɗɗum wawa wonde ɗum rek on haala wawata darde dulaji.
So that's why I said possible factors, because it could.
But if it could, then it is a factor. It is not a possible factor. You're just hiding behind negativing or words that would give it a nuance that is not deserved. But you're just hiding behind that. But you know fully well that this is a factor, not just a possible factor. It is a factor that can render a statement inadmissible.
ɗum de sandari tigi tigi wayri an hoorema a wi ɗum wawa wonde sandari wawa wonde wayri ɗon kayno dari joni sandari e sengo go kala on wawa wonde wawa wonat hunde mo anduɗa ɗum wawa yakkude e darde on haala ha dulaji goɗɗi sa darni ɗon haala ɓe ɓagata ɗum.
But let me change the question. Do you think that it is normal and acceptable in civilized societies for a suspect to be brought to the interview with blood over the person, and then the person is sat down and interviewed?
Joni fadumi sansa no mi lamdiri ɗum sita neɗɗo addama mo anduɗa ɓandu ndu no waɗi jiiƴam wutte on no seeki sa daari ɗum andat o dey natti e nder tampere ɗum noon no yaadi e laawol pour on neɗɗo ɓe landomo ko haaju mo anduɗa ko ɗum woni dalila ko adda ɗon ko.
Is that acceptable in civilized societies?
ɗum noon yimɓe wawa ɗum ɓangde e dulaji mo anduɗa ko yimɓe mo anduɗa ɓenin fini.
Would you answer now, please?
Said no counsel.
Thank you. If you answer as soon as I ask the question, then it will model the record. Is it normal, is it acceptable in civilized societies for a suspect to be brought in haggard looking, in tattered clothes and interviewed? Is it acceptable?
ɗum noon dulaji no woodi sita ɗum yimɓe wawa ɗum ɓangde sita neɗɗo no adda omo tampi te noon guɗe ko ɓorni ko fof no yakki sa ɗum noon on neɗɗo sifa e nder dulaji manduɗa yimɓe no fini ɗon a sikkuɗa ɗum yaadi e laawol pour ɓen sifa yimɓe ɓaga haala maɓɓe.
No counsel.
Ala counsel.
Is it acceptable that suspects are beaten and brought into the interview room and interviewed? Is that accepted?
Sa ndaari kala neɗɗo mo annduɗa ɓe lappimbo ha ɓe pari ɓe addamo e nder suudu pour ɓe lamdamo ɗum kala dulaji mo annduɗa yimɓe wonɓe ɗon no fini ɗum noon sikkuɗa yimɓe ɓagat ɗum.
No.
Ala counsel.
And isn't it the truth, Mr. Witness, that these suspects were beaten and brutalized and brought for the interview? Isn't that the truth, Mr. Witness?
La sandari wona o woni gonga ɓe yimɓe ɓe nanga ɓe lappa ha ɓe tampi ɓe addi ɗumen e nder suudu pour ɓe lamda ɗumen so wona ko ɗum wadno ɗon.
Some of them, yes.
E woɓɓe maɓɓe ɓe lappama ɗum ko gonga.
Is that acceptable in civilized societies?
ɗum noon yimɓe mo annduɗa ɓenin fini jamma mo annduɗa ɓenin fini ɓen noon ɓe wawa ɗum ɓangde.
No.
Ala counsel.
Is that acceptable in the laws of this country?
ɗum noon luwaji e o Gambia ɗo ɗum noon yimɓe wawa ɗum ɓangde.
No.
Ala counsel.
So the people who were brought in after having been tortured, do you think that you proceeded with them in accordance with the law?
yimɓe mo annduɗa ɓe tampini ɗumen ɓe yii mette ha ɓe pari ɓe adda ɗon onon on lamdi ɓen ɗon sikkuɗa ɗum noon ko haaju ma annduɗa no feewi.
As far as the panel was concerned,
comme no wayni ɓe yimɓe joɗɗinaɓe toon ɓe wonɓe landaɓe fi maɓɓe sa dartindiga ɗum.
we were all not in for what we saw.
Menen
Some
fo
of
ko
their
ɓe yii
cases.
kon woɓɓe maɓɓe men ko ɓe yii kon e maɓɓe kon ko ɓe waɗa kon men fo woɓɓe amen ɓe jaɓani.
Were you in for it?
An hoorema aɗo yiɗi ɗum.
But you are here, you sat here and endorsed the work of the panel.
kono a jooɗiɗo a moƴƴini ligge panel o.
You now have an opportunity to change your mind, but you sat there and endorsed the work of the panel, and I was shocked by what you said.
Joni dey a heɓi laawol pour sansa miijo ma e ngo sengo
Now
kono noon a jooɗiɗo e a moƴƴini ligge panel o ɗum noon ɗon no jakinimɓe.
You changed your mind about the work of the panel, didn't you?
a sansi miijo ma e sengo ligge panel o.
You've changed your mind, correct?
a sansi ɗon.
After I gave you a litany of the violations, now you change your mind.
Can you, I'm listening to the interpreters.
Yes.
Yes. No gila mi haalanima piiji e laabi mo annduɗa ko ɗum luwa o haali o walla piiji mo fat annduɗa yimɓe finɓe e jamanu maɓɓe piiji mo annduɗa ɓe wawata ɓangde gila mi haalanima ɗin piiji kontuma a sansata miijo ma o walla.
So my position as per my earlier statement,
min darne andan comme no mi haalere ni ɗum ɓaawo
does not suggest
hollirani ni
that I categorically state that whatever the panel does was right. I didn't say that.
hollirani ɗo wigol wondema kala ko panel on waɗi ton ko
And I would never say that.
mi haalata ɗum kadi wigol wondema kala ko
I also would not say.
Yes, Mr. Witness, you are given an opportunity to make an assessment of the work of the panel, and you endorsed it.
Do ɓe hokkima laawol pour ndaara dartina an hoorema e miijo ma liggintina ligge panel o ko ɓe waɗi ko kono a moƴƴini ligge ɗen.
You endorsed.
A moƴƴini ɗum de.
And now you are telling us that, well, some people did not like what was happening. You also did not like what was happening.
Joni aɗo wiya
But you
minen
just endorsed the work of the panel.
woɓɓe yiɗa ligge panel o an hoorema kala a yiɗa ligge panel o kono a moƴƴinino ligge panel o.
You can change your mind, but you earlier endorsed the work of the panel.
A wawa sansude miijo ma o kono folofolo o a moƴƴinino ligge panel o.
Council, my response to question in regards to the conduct of the panel, I said yes and no. That's what I said. So if you are now trying to generalize that to mean that I said everything the panel does was right, that is you saying it. I didn't say it.
My friend, even if they did 1 million correct things and they did one fundamental wrong, that one fundamental wrong can vitiate all that million things they did right as far as the admissibility of the statements are concerned. The findings of the commission.
Si ɓe ligge manduɗa no yahi ha ko foti million ko moƴƴi e sengo ligge ɗen ɓe waɗoyi hunde wotere mo anduɗa ko hunde mawɗo kono ko hunde bonɗo on hunde goto on hunde ɓade bonde on wawa yakkude walla wawa yakkude inde ligge ko ɓe waɗi ko.
What do you say to that?
My position is unchanged, except that you are trying to give a meaning and regards to what I said, and as though I have said what we said, did at the panel, everything was right. I didn't say that.
Okay.
I said very clearly that it's a yes and no. In the no, I've said what my understanding was, and in the no, I've also said something. So if you are now bringing all that to one, okay, sure.
Could you take it again? And allow for the interpretation.
Yes. Sorry,
so put
Council.
your answers in short segments, in
Yes.
short stanzas, statements, right?
I said my response to your question in regards to the legality
ko mi jaabi ɗo kon e landagol mangal ko andana hino yaari e luwa
or illegality of the panel's conduct.
mande ko andana yaadani e luwa on ko panel on ko waɗi ko
My answer was a yes and no.
mi jaabi ɗo gon ko ɗum woni eyi ma ala.
But your present position is like
an darde ma no wayi ni
you are now saying I said all that the panel did was right, and I never said that.
no
That's my
wayi ni an
concern.
darde ma no ko wonda wiide ko min ko wi wonda
Mr.
panel on ko ɓe waɗi kon fof ko golle
The vitiating factors that you've said,
again
the vitiating factors
wi
that council alluded to earlier,
council an ko haalnoɗa kon ɓawɗo wigol wondema laabi ɗi anndanɗa miɗo serti ɗi mi acciti ɗin seeɗa
I could not say much about it because you said that is the law.
mi wawata haalde ko ɗuuɗi e ɗum ɗon
I
sabu luwa
said
ko ɗum haali
subjected to interpretation because for me,
no heeɗi no lutti e no ɗum firtirte noon
interpretation of the law, it does not necessarily stop at the process of accepting or not accepting
luwa
personal
no
statement.
firtirte noon ɗum hattani wigol wondema wonde
That's why we have-
What are you talking about?
What I'm saying, when I talk about interpreting the law, I said when a magistrate or judge is sitting listening to whatever happens, he sits and get those facts together and then give it a meaning in the context of law. That's what I'm saying.
misal si taƴo o ñawore
This is a
dako
process.
ñawore taƴo ñawore dow ma
I,
liijo
based on what had happened,
yo tajude ñawore no jeddino to haalaji din fof
Even though it was wrong in some context,
Even though it was wrong in some context. Interpret that.
sita andari sengo go no yadani e lawol
I cannot conclusively admit the fact that everything that the panel did at the time was wrong. That's why I'm saying what I'm
joni
saying.
mi wawata darde mi wiya kala ko panel o watno untuma fo yadani e lawol
Let me ask you basic questions in law.
wadumi lamdama piiji manduɗa ko piiji waɗɗo hoore e nder sengo loi.
If you commit one violation,
sa waɗi bonande goote
does it matter that you have done several things without committing a violation?
ɗum noon ho yimɓe foti laarde a waɗno piiji kewɗi ɓaawo mo annduɗa ɗin no moƴƴi.
Like violations like what?
bonande
wayande wonne.
Okay, here was a process, you said.
mbiɗa
A process of investigation. Correct?
liggitingo.
If you obtain a statement illegally, does it matter that you have read the person some of his rights?
so joni sa lamdi neɗɗo mo annduɗa a foti heɓde konngol e junngo makko te noon no heɓirɗa on konngol e junngo makko yadani e laawol joni noon on feere mo waɗnoɗa ha heɓi on konngol ɗum noon no laaɓi walla moƴƴani.
Does it matter?
ɗon noon a laarat piiji ko wanno ɓaawo no moƴƴi walla o haaju ko waɗi no boni joni noon kono darirta ɗum.
Does it really matter? Cut the interpretation now. Let's do it just in English. Does it really matter?
Well, it is determined by the courts. It doesn't matter.
Why are you fixated on the courts? You are the officer there, senior police officer. Your responsibility is to uphold the law, to implement the law, to enforce the law. Do you accept everything and then you take it to court, or do you do the right thing?
In this case, the panel didn't take anything to the courts. The panel did their report and sent it to the agency.
We know you did that. The issue is whether you should do the right thing or you should do the wrong thing and then send it to the courts. What should you do? The right thing or the wrong thing?
That's why it escalated to some other areas. If it is wrong from where we were, the agency member should be able.
I am talking about your obligation as a police officer. I am talking about your obligation as a police officer. Should you do the right thing or should you do the wrong thing?
Right thing.
Do you believe you did the right thing?
To an extent, no.
No. It's either the right thing or the wrong thing. It's not the right thing to an extent. It is either wrong or it is right. Did you do the right thing?
To an extent, Council, that's going to be my answer.
So you are hiding behind nuances. You are not even sure of your position. It's either right or it is wrong.
I think, Council, there is an element that you also need to understand. I wish I don't want to go this far to say anything. But we are looking at an issue that happened at a time within a certain government system that I would say, even if, sorry to say that, you were sitting there.
No, don't use me as an example. You cannot use me as an example.
Okay, sorry.
I don't work by your standards.
Sorry,
Mr. Witness.
excuse me, okay, that's a misstatement, that's okay. The condition was like, you may be wrong in some aspect, but for you to say anything, it's a problem.
But Mr. Witness, we haven't gone that far yet. What you have done is you have defended the outcome of your work. You said it was okay, much to our shock. You said it was okay. I gave you a list of the violations, just a few. I haven't even gone into the nitty-gritty yet. I haven't reached the full detail yet. And here you are stuck. You cannot defend that record. All of you acted in illegality. That is the truth, isn't it?
That's your statement, Council. It's not my
But
statement.
that is the truth.
Well, I wouldn't say no, but that's your statement.
So if you don't say no, you would obviously say yes.
If you ask me, I would say what I would say. But if
All
are
of
telling-
you acted in illegality.
Well, that's your statement, Council. With due respect.
What is the truth? Mr. Chair, let the witness answer the question. What is the truth? Did you act lawfully or did you all act unlawfully?
The truth, Council, is in that situation, our conducts were made that we are very unlawful.
Did you all act unlawfully by sitting there and accepting those illegalities to prevail, and you submit reports, sanitized reports, which stated nothing about those illegalities? Did you act according to the law?
I wouldn't say sanitize.
Did you act according to the law?
I act according to what the law said I should do as far as the statement recording was concerned.
Okay. Did you write anywhere in the reports that these people appeared bruised, bloodied, and in tattered clothes? Did you state that in your reports?
In my history in the service, I've never seen.
I'm not saying that. The question is, did you do it or did you not?
It was not a report that would state how they appear. What they said in their statements.
Did you honestly, according to your oath as police officers, did you honestly state how the statements were obtained?
And so the report was not supposed to capture that. No.
But if you did not, you misled the whole country. If you did not, you misled the whole country.
Except if those that came before you depart from what we said in the report. Because whatever they said here is what they said in their statements, and that's what is captured in the report.
Mr. Witness, you knew there was a voir dire in all these cases. Don't you know that?
Yes, I'm told there was.
Yes. And what was the purpose of the voir dire?
Of course, it was to check the credibility of the statement based on whether it was voluntary or not voluntary.
And you knew about the illegalities that would render the statements inadmissible? You knew that? You told us here before?
Well, I've said it, Council.
Yes.
What else?
Okay. Did you go to the court to say, well, when these people were interviewed, there were a lot of illegalities that happened? Did you do that?
I don't think anybody would walk himself to any court.
Okay. And by your silence, these people have been sentenced, these statements have been admitted because people like you remain silent? Is that not the truth?
That is not the truth, Council. I'll never remain silent because I'm called here to come. And if I was anywhere, I would.
Well, now it's ex post facto. We are talking when it mattered. If you had done the right thing, we wouldn't be sitting here today interrogating this particular issue. It's because you did not do the right thing.
Council, I think you are trying to be a bit, I don't know.
No, answer the question, Mr. Witness.
I've never in my life as a police officer walked to a court and say I must testify. It has never happened in my life. All the time.
Don't you have a duty as a citizen, as a police officer who knows or is privy to facts that are critical in a case? Don't you have an obligation? Don't you think it's your civic responsibility? Or in fact, your official responsibility to write a statement to say, I was there, these statements were unlawfully obtained. Don't you think that should be your responsibility?
I don't know that as a practice in the Gambia here.
But
not even in the Gambia.
Morally, is that
well, we are talking about what the law says.
No, I am coming to that. Morally, is that an obligation?
Council, I think maybe you are trying to...
No, answer the question and stop characterizing me as to what I am trying or not trying. Just answer the questions.
Morally, whether...
Are you obligated to blow the whistle to say that this was a blatant violation of the rights of Gambians. It should not be a basis for the conviction of these people. Don't you think you are morally obliged to?
No, I wasn't.
Okay, fine. But don't you think that as a police officer, you sat there, you knew an illegality was going on. Don't you have an obligation to stop it or to blow the whistle or not to be part of it?
To who, Council? With due respect, to who? If I'm going to blow the whistle, to who?
Do you have an obligation? Before we talk about to who, let's say, do you think you have an obligation? You accept
Mr. Chair,
unlawfully.
let me make a position here. It's as good. It's important to all Gambians and non-Gambians watching to understand that some of the questions, I have no problem with answering questions.
Well, you are not answering questions.
If Council is suggesting that I should be a whistleblower in an environment that I want to understand to who do I blow this whistle.
Mr. Witness, let's first deal with the question. Do you believe that you had an illegal, did you believe that you had a legal obligation to ensure that that illegality did not proceed?
No, legal obligation to ensure.
Yes.
To terminate the panel, you mean? Is that what you want to suggest?
You could have refused to carry on with the interviews.
It's good that some people were not here. For me to walk out and go home?
Yes.
You think that was a possibility, Councillor? With due respect?
Yes, it was a possibility.
Well, I didn't try it, and I wouldn't try it. Even today, I don't think it's very
Couldn't you have written in the statement that this person was beaten prior to the interview?
I didn't write a statement, Council.
Did you ensure? Well, those who wrote statements were under your command, correct?
Yes.
Did you order them to do that?
I ordered them to obtain statements from suspects.
Did you order them to state that?
I ordered them to obtain statements from witnesses, from suspects.
Did you order them to state the true facts that these people appeared beaten and dazed when they give their statements?
No, that was not supposed to be my orders to them.
Didn't you think that that would have been the fair and appropriate thing to do under the circumstances?
Fair enough. If that's your take, I would agree.
Don't you even think that the mere fact that these people have been tortured is reason why the interview should not take place?
Chairman, my fuller listeners are denied interpretation.
No, you just trying to buy time to think through your answers. Answer the question.
No,
answer the question.
Mr. Kafala,
just answer the question.
Yes, please.
You agree?
To say?
You agree that no interview should have taken place in view of the fact that these people were tortured?
Well, for today I will agree, but then not yesterday.
Look, the law that exists today is the same law that existed then.
But yes.
So you acquiesced, you folded and accepted the situation. Isn't that the case?
I think it is the system that you need to understand.
No, you can make us understand the system later. Let's now try to understand your conduct, what it is that you did. You sat there and accepted the illegality. Didn't you do that?
No.
What did you do?
In the context of the beating, I didn't do much.
You did not do anything. Yes. You accepted the situation.
Yeah, because the beating was not done in that room.
But in fact, that is not the case, Mr. Witness. Some beatings were done in the room. And your colleagues, those who were there with you, they attested to the fact that some beatings were done in the room.
Well, that could be their statement, but as far as I'm concerned,
are they lying, Mr. Witness? Remember,
I'm not here to disagree with anybody's statement.
No, Mr. Witness, you are here to testify to the truth.
Very well, but not to disagree on anybody's statement. That I will not do.
Even if you don't disagree, we will make you answer questions. Are those witnesses lying?
I'm not sure. That's their testimony.
So it means, therefore, you are not even sure of your testimony. You are not even sure of what you say. Because they say it's this, you say it's that, and you are not sure whether they are right. It means you are not sure that you are even right.
Council, I don't know whether you are also sure that they are right, but because I was there, and if I am telling you what happened there, and you are telling me I'm not telling the truth, then
Alaji Martin has confessed here that yes, he slapped Bunja Dabo. Is he lying? Is he lying?
Not in that venue.
In that room.
Well, I cannot remember seeing that.
You see, what you're trying to do, Mr. Witness, is trying to give a sanitized version of what has happened in that place. That place was also part of the process of torturing people and getting them to give unlawful confessions which would be used as proof against them. That is the scheme in which you worked. That's the truth, isn't it? Every witness who appeared here has accepted that that was the truth. From Director General of NIA to the very officers who worked under you during that time, they all accepted that these people were tortured, brought to us, and statements were taken. That was the system. That was the scheme. You are here to sanitize it. You want to give it that air of legality.
Councillor, are you saying that with all I said here, I didn't accept the fact that people were tortured and they brought in it?
But why are you arguing? Why are you making it look like you people did no wrong?
That is your suggestion. I didn't say that. Because I said the panel there were...
All right. Okay. Let me toss aside everything that's been said. Did you people act in illegality?
Yes and no. That's my take.
Okay. Spare us the no. We're not interested. Where you acted lawfully, we're not interested. Tell us where you people acted unlawfully.
This is where we accepted interviewing people who were in a state of...
People who were tortured.
Traumatized kind. People who came in.
People who were tortured. Accept that they were tortured, Mr. Witness.
They were beaten. That's what I'm saying.
And is beating not torturing? Especially if they are in the hands of state officials?
Use any of the adjectives, Council. I have no problems with that.
Give us a definition of torture, Mr. Witness.
I am not here to define torture.
No, Mr. Witness, you are a lawyer. You are an Inspector General of Police,
yes.
Assistant. You've led investigations at the highest level in this country. Tell us what is torture.
Torture is what it is because it's self-explanatory. There is nothing.
Okay, tell us what
torture is torture.
Tell us what it.
Torture is torture. That's my take.
Tell us what it means, Mr. Witness. No, because only if you don't know what it means, Mr. Chair.
System indicates that don't take us back to the Lamin Dabo appearance here, not between torture and beating. But I would allow this punching to go back and forth. You both appealed to me twice, made reference to the chair that yes, I do allow some punching to go back and forth, left hook, right hook, left hook, right hook. You do that, but at some point we would need to get back to the substance, the thing, answer his questions, and we would go ahead. And perhaps, Council, if you make them shorter for him, you would just
Mr. Chair, I ask this question because it is important for us to know whether our security officers understand what is torture. Because if they don't understand what is torture, they cannot prevent it from happening.
Well, please go ahead and answer the question.
What is torture?
Yeah.
Torture is the inhuman treatment of an individual.
No, that is not torture.
It's like doing any kind of beating, you call it, and causing trauma to the person based on what is applied on the individual. So I said that these people, some of them were beaten, were tortured, and brought before the panel.
Finally, you have landed.
No.
No. Finally, you have landed. Oh, that's all I wanted. That these people were tortured. You have used the word for the first time now, since we started 2 hours ago. They were tortured, correct?
Is it the first? Yeah, anyway, I said they came in tortured, beaten, I used a lot of words.
Exactly.
But
well, the one I was looking for, you have finally used. The Eagles have landed. Thank you very much. Do you think it was lawful that you obtain statements from these people? Knowing that
that's a very important question. Can the interpreters come in now so that people get to know?
Yes, perhaps repeat your answer. They were beaten, they were tortured,
Yes,
they were manhandled. Could you repeat that? No. Take it from the witness.
Yes.
Could you say your answer? Repeat your answer.
So my answer remains my answer from the one that this
council
people were beaten.
what it says komi jaabi gon kilande mo premier ko woni be woni yimbe be anana be lappama te be wadama ko council yo mic.
Sorry, interpreter, don't talk over each other. Let the witness answer the question again.
Yes, I was telling from English.
From the beginning, read council.
And my premier long komi ma kon council.
What I said
Wi kon
remains the same.
dum ha joni ko don dari sansaki.
Suspects
Were
were
na ko tumabe
beaten out.
be lappama yasi
What is beat out?
on woni be lappama yasi
Said beaten outside. They were kind of,
lappama yasi
whatever happened to them happened outside the
ala ko
conference.
hebi
Some of what happened to them happened outside.
kala ko
Some of what
yasi.
happened to them happened
And so the
inside.
word torture I would use, they were tortured from wherever it happened and ushered in the
be
conference.
wada kon fo ko be wada ko be lappanda ko hondum be wada ko hondum musi ko be wada fo ko yasi be wada
And they were
And-
interviewed.
Okay, good. And when they were brought in, you knew these people were tortured.
Gila be addama ka nder suudu ndu on andi be yimbe be tampin be lappuno be do ha be tampi.
Of course, their looks were not the ordinary looks, so
Aye.
that is obvious.
ko go ngando be woni non ay sai tan anda wonda be wada ma ko wodi ko be wada.
Could you answer the question more directly? Yes or no? Did you know that these people were tortured?
No ano andi be do be lappama walla be lappaka.
They look like people who were tortured.
E wa I wini yimbe be wada wonda lappama.
I put it to you, Mr. Witness, that you are again giving a very sanitized answer. You knew with certainty that these people were tortured.
Ha joni kala seede on ado moƴƴina halaka kono non gonga odon andi si on daari yimbe be yimbe a andi be ko yimbe manduda be natti e nder mette parce que be lappama.
And please answer truthfully. The commission would have to listen to all your answers in making decisions later. Answer truthfully.
Toroma si a jabo to jabo e gogoga commission on ko halata do fo ko halata do be dartinto dum goto goto.
You knew these people were tortured. It was not lost to the panel members that this torturing was going on. They would torture and bring to you for interview.
Wano dal onon be wombe e nder panel o be anduno gonga be yimbe addabe don be lappuno dumen be natti e nder mette be tampi ko on tuma be addi dumen don on anduno dum.
Like I said earlier, some of them, yes, they were.
Wiru minon bawo wobbe mabbe
That is not the answer I was looking for. The question is, did you know whether these people were tortured, or did you not know that these people were tortured? That's
Ko
the
jabuda ko wona dum mi fala ko mi fala ko wiya gonga walla wona gonga hani on anduno be yimbe be adduno don be lappama ha pari.
Mr. Chair, I'm looking for a yes or no answer. I want a categoric statement.
We can't be repeating it ad infinitum. Perhaps the last time you asked that a question. Can we get an answer, please, witness?
I only knew of their torture when they came.
Did you know?
Yes, when they came, I knew that they were tortured.
wattu mo mi andi o wonde mabbe wada be lappama on wattu woni banda mabbe be addi be on kan suudu kam woni don ko on wattu mi faami wonde mabbe de be lappa.
Thank you very much. The more we have straightforward answers, the easier it becomes for everybody, and we save a lot of time.
Ajarama simen hebi kongol jungo ma a jaabi no men falira ni hunde nde yawat.
did the members of the panel know that these witnesses were being tortured and brought in and interviewed? That was the routine.
Yombe nder panel o be andunona be yimbe addabe don be lappuno dumen ha para on tuma be addi don ko non piji din woniri be anduno dum.
I can only talk about myself, Council.
Again, Mr. Chair, the witness is not answering the questions. You're not answering the question. Please answer the question. Remember, we have received a lot of evidence here, and your statement would be juxtaposed against other statements of witnesses.
Foti andude men hebi do seedeji kewdi manduda be ari be haali do te non kongol mangol me wallina dum e kongol gu yimbe wobbe manduda be arno do men dartina.
Was it generally known to members of the panel that the suspects were being tortured and brought in for interview?
Dum non wombe nder panel o be hebno o gandal wonde mabbe yimbe be wadno dumen be lappuno dumen ha pari be addi dumen on yeso mon to nder panel o.
Yes or no?
I know about it. That's my answer. I cannot talk about general members.
But that is not true, Mr. Witness. What the answer you just gave is not the true answer to the question, and you know it.
Gongade ko jabda kon wona kongol manduda ko dum mi falno dum wona gonga no mi faliri dum ni.
It is not. And I don't want to have to prove to you that the answer is not true.
Non mi parani pour mi hollama sede ne ko halda ko wona.
So I give you another chance to answer the question. Was it known in the panel generally that these people were being tortured and brought in for interview as a matter of routine?
Yimbe wombe nder panel o be anduno gonga o dey be yimbe tuma be lappuno dumen ha pari be addi dumen nder to commission o ko dum mi fala jaba.
Also, I cannot talk about every member of the panel, and it's not everybody who came before the panel appeared the same way, like the issue of torture marks and stuff like that. Not everybody. So if you want me to talk about everybody, I'm making a personal statement.
Mr. Witness, the question is, was it known generally in the panel? Okay? Like it is known generally here that we've been here for almost 2 hours. And in that 2 hours, we only managed to get you to use the word torture at the very last minute. That is generally known. That is a fact here. It's not incriminating anybody. This is a known fact. During that time, was it known generally in the panel that these people were torturing suspects and bringing them before the panel to be interviewed? Was it generally known? It's a simple yes or no answer.
It was a general observation that people come there with marks indicating that they are tortured. It's a general observation.
Still being nuanced, but it was general knowledge. Not a general observation. It was general knowledge.
Joni halakala bal kono non a wi joni non dum ko hunde mo anduda hewbe andi.
Do you agree
that it was a general observation? Yes.
Mr. Witness, stop dilly-dallying. This was general knowledge. It was known to members of the panel. True or false?
Dey yimbe wombe nder panel o be anduno dum ko gonga wala wona gonga.
Council, I am agreeing to the fact that it was a general observation. If you want,
Mr. Chair,
that's what I said.
Mr. Chair, I think you should warn the witness. You are a very senior officer in government. You cannot be holding the commission in contempt like this. Answer the questions truthfully. This is a simple question. Answer the questions truthfully. This is a simple question. Was it generally known by the panel? You telling us it was a general observation and sticking to it. The question is, was it generally known? It is a yes or no answer. You cannot treat the commission with contempt like that by just dilly-dallying and waffling around. Answer the question. Was it generally known? Answer the question.
It's a general observation that I can see.
Mr. Chair, under the rules of this commission, a witness is obliged to answer questions. All right? You cannot refuse to answer questions by hiding behind imprecise words. Let the witness answer the question, Mr. Chair. If not, I would continue to cross-examine you on this question until I get the answer I want. Was it generally known in the panel that these suspects were being tortured and brought before the panel?
No.
Could you stop the interpretation? Answer the question.
The question is, suspects were tortured and brought before the panel. That's what I said.
Was that generally known to members
It was,
of the panel?
the general knowing and the general observation is where maybe you want me to just on
answer
that
my question
general-
and stop.
I said the general observation because they come, you see it and you understand that these people were treated wrongly. It was observed.
Okay. When it was observed, was it discussed by members of the panel?
But at levels, but I know with
Was it discussed?
no general. There was no discussion about it general.
But that is a lie. That is not true.
No.
The witnesses who testified here said this thing was discussed in the panel.
That's what I'm saying. I said not generally, but then to an extent. Myself and Hydra, we were sitting like this. Sometimes we would be talking. So
Did you
that
discuss
that
it?
is not a general discussion.
Mr. Witness, stop playing games. Stop playing games. This is not helpful. This is not helpful. This issue was discussed in the panel that these people were being brought, beaten, tortured. It was discussed in the panel, true or false?
I discussed it with Hydra. Did
Fode Barry participate in the discussion?
No, that would not be maybe in my presence. They may do it, but
Okay,
not
let's
in my
listen to what Hydra had to say. Let's see, listen to what Hydra had to say. Unfortunately, the state guards who were in charge of the upkeep and security of the accused always like to stay in the panel room, notably Musa Jame Tumbul Tamba and Alaji Martin, all from state guards. Their presence became a nuisance and a bigger problem to the panel, simply because they were the ones who interrupted proceedings by either trying to beat or some instances had slapped suspects, maybe 2 or 3 times if my memory serves me right, and their acts were never ignored because we always complained. They always complained about the torture that was going on. And you said that did not happen?
I think we need to understand
Understand what?
what was at play. I would sometimes be talking with Hydra, but Hydra can talk to people that
My
I'm
friend,
not talking to.
when the complaints were made, all of you were there.
No, honestly, we knew and we didn't like it.
But you telling me that you did not know that the others knew. That is what you told us. It's only now you're telling us that you knew.
What I said this were the observations we knew. And
you never said that, Mr. Witness. If you did say that, we would not be spending this 10 minutes discussing this issue.
Very well, if that is, we knew.
Exactly.
Yes, we knew because they come and we observed this and we discussed it. Myself and Hydra, we discussed this.
But I told you, if you don't give us the answers, we would pull out the tooth. No matter how hard it is, you will answer the questions.
I don't need to hide behind anything,
but
because there is no interest for me to hide in any way.
It was absolutely unnecessary. You just wasted our time. It was absolutely unnecessary. It was.
I discussed with Hydra.
No, if you had just said, answered the question, yes, we knew, we would have moved on. But you tried to hide behind it was some observation. I tell you, you would answer the questions, no matter what. You would answer the questions. So make it easy.
And the question has been answered.
Thank you.
And on,
Mr. Chair, perhaps we should just take a break at the moment. Yes. I thought this was going to be a 1 hour session, but maybe it would be 5 hours. I am sorry, but we will get the answers that we want. Thank you.
You promised me it will be 1 hour session. But before we go, just a very small footnote on the first lawyer-to-lawyer exchange that you had on vitiating factors. The analogy that you gave, that you have a bucket of water and then they put in a small urine, that's no normal person would drink that water. Just to tell you that in the 1960s there was heated debate when the third Prime Minister of India, Morarji Desai, was just doing exactly that. You read about the debate was whether or not Morarji Desai was a normal person. Very heated debate in the papers. But I'm glad that we have left that point behind. We will come back at 12:45. Is that correct? Yes. Come back at 12:45. Let's take a quick tea break. Thank you.
Hello and welcome. I am your host, Saina Bajang, and with me in the studio, I have Mr. Omar Jammeh. This guy has been following Coffee With for a very long time. He named the episode that happened like 2 I was like, wow, okay, this guy is a great follower. So he's here today to share his story. You know, he's done amazing things with youth work.